Hey, what's up guys? Nils here and welcome back to another video. So, fasten your seatbelts because this one is gonna be probably the longest video that I have ever done actually. Now, AFS is trending once again because it's gonna get updated soon. It's actually doing pretty well right now, 10k players without even being updated. And yeah, a lot of people are coming back to the game. A lot of people are getting into the game. So this video is gonna be a little bit of talking about important things. Also including for myself as well again, because I have honestly forgotten a lot of them after not playing the game for a year. So yeah, we're gonna talk about all of the important things that you need to know. It will help obviously new players tremendously and returning players even. So yeah, fasten your seatbelts. We're gonna jump into this topic. I've made this notepad here with a couple of things that I want to talk about. And yeah, first things first, we're gonna talk a little bit about max opens, as you probably saw in the notepad, like very, very important. So yeah, let's just jump right into each of the topics. And yeah, I hope you guys make it through the entire video because it's gonna be a long one. So this would be like your normal opening, just like in every simulator, right? Okay, apparently you can open 13 stars, not 14. Now, if I press R, see here the max button. So you use this currency, which are the max open tokens. We're gonna talk about them in a little bit. And there you go. You open 2,079 units instantly. Now there is a cooldown. I think the base cooldown for that was 1 minute and 30 seconds baseline. We'll talk about that as well in a minute. I think there was a game pass to begin with, and then there was the Time Lords, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, anyway, so you see, press max open, boom. That is the first thing that you need to know. It's one of the most important parts of the game for the new players out there. And yeah, so as you saw, it also uses currency. We are using this currency right here, which are the multi-open tokens. Now, how do you get these? You get these from something called defense modes. If I go right here, so you see here, when you see on the teleporter pad, when you see this icon right here, that is a defense mode. So we're gonna jump here, the first one, starting on Crazy Town. And in order to actually start a defense mode, you need one of these tokens, the defense tokens. You can see right here. I currently have 76 of them. And there you go. So I started on public. Share the loot. You should probably do friends only so people cannot join you. And yeah, essentially we have to wait a minute until this whole thing starts. And once it starts, you basically just have, well, later on you have more than one path. Currently we have only one path here, but basically you have like 4 paths from the 4 sides of the map. And mobs are just like starting to come, make the way through, and you just kill them and you get the stars. You see here, our currency has also changed from yen to the multi-open tokens. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You just kill stuff. Now, what's best thing about max opens, besides obviously the fact that you open your entire inventory space in a press of a button, it's also a lot yen friendly, which yen, obviously as a starting player, like you will struggle until you get to the point where you're very strong. You will struggle with yen. But when you max open, you actually pay only 50% of the yen price. So you pay half the yen for what you normally would, right? So that's also something very good. Now, next up in the list, as you can see, I have something called Collector. Now, Collector is a passive. If you guys have played Anime Warriors recently, the exact same passive obviously exists. And basically, Collector increases your drop chance. That's pretty good. And yeah, drops actually affect this thing that we're doing right here, the defense mode. So you see here, if I kill this boom, I don't know why it doesn't show like the stuff here. Is it because the amount is too small? I don't know why. See, like when I kill him, I don't actually get any gains. I guess it's because the amount is really small and like the 0.4 doesn't change. It can change on this defense mode. But yeah, nonetheless, the Collector passive actually affects these. Now, I don't really have a Collector passive to show you because we have Collector 1, 2, and 3. And after that, we have a passive called Draconic, this passive right here. Now, this passive does give increased drops as well as increased yen and increased damage on your units. And it's basically like having a Collector 4, but just keep in mind that Collector passives are really useful. So even if you just start the game out right now, having Collector 1, 2, 3 on some units, because you can hatch units with passives, just set them aside and they're going to be useful for you for defense modes and for the time trials as well, which should be the next thing in the video. Yeah, so next off, we are going to be jumping into time trials and time trial shards. Now, Similar to this currency, we have a currency called the time trial shards. And basically with the time trial shards, you can use them at the vendor. They drop by just killing like stuff in the trials. So you have easy here, medium, hard, and ultimate. Obviously you want to start out from the easy one as a new player. And yeah, if you use collectors, it's going to give you increased drop chance. You can actually see your stats right here. So my drops are currently at 22.5 right now, right? So yeah, anyway, once you actually get your hands on those time trial shards, you can use them here at the trial shop. Now the trial shop does sell boosts. So I have yen, damage XP, luck, drops. You have raid tickets as well. Raid tickets, like raids as a concept, kind of died after the trading like came out. Unless there's like a drops event, then you get like mad amounts of shards. But yeah, in general, like raids are like not so hot, I guess, unless they're massive maybe. Also, it's very hard to get the raid you want because we have, I think 36 maps right now currently in the game. Yeah, 36 maps, and a random raid spawns every hour. So essentially, if you're looking for like particularly the Abyss raid, you have 1 in 36 chances of getting it. So good luck with that. And as you can see, we have also super boosts and defense mode tokens that you can buy. You can also buy a secret unit pity potion and a dungeon token, and then trade license is really important. So in order to trade, you need 1000 shards to begin with. So that's something that you need to grind for ASAP. That will help you a lot. And then if you have friends, they can just rate you boosts and stuff like that to use them, so you speed up your farming pace. This one basically gives you 2 daily tickets instead of 1, which you can claim. Every 24 hours you can claim a raid ticket. And then you have like some trial movement speed, which is good to get eventually, but as a new player, you shouldn't really focus on it. And that's pretty much how this whole thing plays out right here. Trading is really, really important about the game. Very, very important. Now, in this room right here, we also have this dungeon that you can see here, the dungeon. So basically the dungeon is like a maze. I think I'll just put the video from the actual dungeon gameplay down below in the description of the video if you guys want to watch it like a little bit in depth. But basically the dungeon is like a maze, a labyrinth with a whole bunch of rooms. You kill stuff to unlock like another door to go to the next room, stuff like that. And then there's like a couple of rooms that have chests which give you a whole amount of stuff. Like you can get anything from shards to these fragments, which we'll talk about in a second, to boosts. I'm not sure if you can get fruits. I think you can take fruits as well, which we'll talk about as well in a little bit. And yeah, you can basically drop anything, any boost, anything in your inventory you can drop from the dungeons. They're really good to farm. They have a cooldown which you can reduce by the use of artifacts, which we'll talk about right next to it. So yeah, I think my cooldown for this is currently 4 hours for dungeons. So yeah, right besides here the dungeons, we have this panel right here with the artifacts. As you can see, they're called artifacts. So basically, you currently can equip 1 artifact. And as you can see here, I have artifact of passage equipped right now. And you see here, my dungeon cooldown is actually 5 hours and 30. I thought it was 4 hours, but I actually prestiged my artifact. So in order to upgrade your artifacts, you use shards. You see here, currently we need 25 purple and 60 blue for the next upgrade. And once you get an artifact to level 5, you can prestige it. You can add 1 star, and basically it gets like slightly better. Now, if I go here to change artifacts, we have a couple more as well. We have artifact of time. Time is one of the most important sort of events, quote unquote, that you can use. We'll talk about it a little bit later, so don't bother it for now. We have yen. No, that's actually luck. We have yen. I don't remember what this one is. Hoarding is a drops artifact, and artifact of attack is obviously attack damage. But yeah, I don't really remember what artifact of multitude is. I think it was added later on, not at the start. So yeah, that's pretty much with artifacts. Now, if you're personally asking me, artifact cooldown swapping needs to go. Like, if I swap my artifact right now, I will basically get myself into a cooldown. Okay, let's see, we can actually upgrade them. No. What are we missing? We're currently missing purple shards. Okay, that is unlucky. See here, so 24-hour cooldown, swap artifacts. I think this cooldown needs to go. Like, just let people swap artifacts. I don't see the reason why you wouldn't be able to. I always found it completely dumb. But yeah, that's another thing out of the way. Now, okay, we'll talk a little bit about some very key passives about the game that you need to have before we talk about all of the passives. Actually, no, before we do that, let's just like wrap up with this room right here. So, on the left side right here, we have a vault. A vault is basically like a bank. You can store units inside that you don't need so that you don't have to carry them. They also free up space for your max weapons, which is pretty good. And right here we have the Illusionist. So, Illusionist, as you can see here, it says transfer the appearance of one fighter to another. That is mostly cosmetic, one would think. That being said, in anime fighters, it does actually change up the gameplay. So basically, when your ultimate units attack, right? I'm sure most of you guys have noticed your units actually cast ultimate abilities after a certain amount of attacks. Now, depending on the unit, there's different attack timers, like 3 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits, 6 hits. And like the ultimate damage also varies from unit to unit due to how it's made. So basically, some units are better than others. I have a video that explains Illusionist very in depth. I'll post a link for that as well with the best Illusionist, but there's some very easy ones to get that are pretty good, like Todoroki. And then there's some other ones that are like slightly harder to get that are really good. But yeah, just keep in mind that Illusionist does actually increase your DPS. Like as you can see, like these units are basically Illusion. You see here, it says this fighter has the appearance of Black Slice. Now that's only cosmetic, like I just like how Black Slice looks, but some units are better than others. Like especially on your main damage units, you want to use illusions. And yeah, just go watch the video on, I just want to let you know that this is a thing, and it does actually affect your damage output. But yeah, Mugetsu, by the way, Shiny Mugetsu does actually look insane, no? I think it does. Anyway, moving on, we're going to talk about the passives, as I said. So, we have a couple of passives that are key. As you will see, like, basically, these are like my up until here, my main damage unit teams. I also have some in the incubators, which I'll talk about as well in a little bit. But yeah, there's also some other stuff that I have in my inventory right now. And starting off, obviously, Draconic. We talked a little bit about Draconic earlier. So basically, Draconic gives you increased drop multipliers, so you kind of need Draconics. Draconics are very important to have. Besides that, you need luck units. Like it increases your luck while you're hatching. Obviously, more luck, better shiny, better secret / divine nodes. Very important ones to have lucky as well. We have lucky 1, lucky 2, lucky 3. Lucky 3 gives 0.5 luck, and if you have 2 of them, it gives +1 luck out of a single unit. And the most important passive, Time Lord. Now, Time Lord increases your time multiplier, which basically means that the time flows faster. Besides that, like that's its utility use. It does increase your damage output as well, but we're currently talking about the utility use. Now, why is time so important? Because it affects pretty much the timer on everything. And in order to level up our units in this game, we actually use incubators. So if I go to, for example, this map, Slayer Army, this is your first incubator. There's this chambers right here where you can store in your units and obviously like they level up. So basically you get like XP every second or every, I think it's every 5 seconds that it shuffles and you get XP. So you see right here, it says 2 hours, 25 minutes and 40 seconds until level up. But if I actually go here, I put on my Time Lord team and this one as well. So you see here, it basically cut down the timer almost by half. So we need only 1 hour and 27 for this unit to level up. So basically Time Lord just speeds up the time. So you see here my time currently multiplier 6.3x. Now we also have the time chamber in Super Island right here. You're gonna see that on the left side we have this building. It's called the time chamber. Basically, when you enter this room, you have even more increased time multiplier. So your time multiplier just goes up even more. See here, currently our time multiplier is at 9.3 in the time chamber. You just sit here and you get like time multiplier. Now this is mostly for AFKing. There's literally nothing to do in here. Some fruits spawn left and right. We're gonna talk about the fruits in a second. I have a passives machine, which is was actually one of my suggestions to be added. And you have a boss which you can hit to measure your DPS for the leaderboard. I have a DPS leaderboard right here. And basically the way to measure DPS is just hit this boss, has infinite HP, you press the button up here. Yeah, the most important thing here is time. You just stay here, time goes up very fast, you level up your units. That is the primary way of leveling up your units. See here, my Luffy right now is actually level 400. And that is due to protagonists. We're gonna talk about them in a little bit. But yeah, these are the main like sort of important passives that give utility. We also have gold, solid gold. This increases your yen multiplier, as you can tell, probably by the name of gold. It's good to have, but like there comes a point after you become like strong that yen doesn't really matter in this game, and probably most simulators, so not really that big of a deal. But if you find one, probably keep them. It's probably gonna be used for you, probably gonna be useful. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for import passives. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is the fruits that I mentioned earlier. We have, as you can see, a whole bunch of fruits. We have basic fruits, legendaries, mythical, secrets, and divine fruits. Now, if we go over to world number 9, it should be the Chimera Island. We have a shiny machine. Now, a shiny machine in this game doesn't work like Enemy Warriors. If some of you guys come over from there to try out this game, it works slightly different. So, wait, do I even have anything to throw in? Okay, yeah, we can throw in this nameless unit. So, you use your unit, just one unit plus fruits. And depending on the amount of fruits that you throw in the machine, you have a better chance of succeeding, right? So if I use one fruit only, my chance of succeeding are 5%. If I use 2, it's going to be almost 10%, 3, 14%, 4, 18, etc. Now, I think 45 is 90%. Yeah, it is. And 15, no, it's not 15, that's 50%. Okay, so 40 fruits is like 51%. And yeah, like if you want to go safe, just go super, super high, like 45 fruits, 90%. As you can see, it diminishes by a lot lately. So from 90.006 to 90.5, 91, 99, there you go. So yeah, the cap is obviously 99 fruits. And yeah, you can't really ever get 100% chance. Like you can only get 99.38, but if you fail with 99 fruits, that is most likely depressing as fuck. So yeah, that's pretty much how shiny units work in this game. And that is our currency as well. Like that's what the fruits are used for. Fragments are used for artifacts like we spoke earlier, and all those shards are basically for rerolling units of their corresponding worlds. And that's pretty much it. I think obviously we have the boosts, damage boost, XP boost, super boosts are just better than regular boosts. Nothing else to be talked about here. Shiny boost as well, it gives you a shiny chance. They're very hard to find, very hard to find, and yeah, they are very good. Also, when you max open with shiny boosts on, you actually make more money than what you spend, which is kind of funny. Especially if you turn on auto sell, like you just sell the units, you make more money than what you spent. So that's a funny interaction that this game has. You're actually farming yen by just auto selling your stuff. Like let's say that everything is like maxed out from your units, right? Because I told you, you mostly like level up your units from max open, from incubators. So you can just turn on auto sell on the units and you actually farm yen if you use shiny boosts. And yeah, moving on, we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna pull up a passive tier list that I had made back from when we actually played the game. We're gonna talk a bit about the rest of the passives, what's good and what is not. And I think that should probably wrap up this video. 19 minutes. This is by far the longest video that I've ever made, guys. So yeah, if you're still watching, shout out to you. Type in the chat, what do we type? What's the keyword that we type in the chat if you're still watching this video? Okay, type my amount of yen in the chat, in the comments. 56x, that's what you have to type. If you're still watching up until this point, type 56x in the comments. Let's get it, boys. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about the passives now. I think I pretty much covered everything. I don't think there's something we did not cover. Oh, speaking of which, when you max open, guys, so yeah, right, I spoke a little bit about it earlier, right? So max opening here, you're gonna notice, you see here, I think the cooldown is 10 seconds due to the fact that we have the time event right now. But yeah, so basically when you max open, like the time on the max opens is heavily like DRing, right? It's not like you can just like slam the full team of Time Lords. So you see here from 11 seconds of cooldown that we have right now, if I go and max open with, okay, that's the wrong team. So if I go and max open with this team, let's check out the cooldown. So you see here, the cooldown is like 7 seconds, right? Like, that is not so good for a full team of Time Lords. You kinda wanna mix your team with time/luck. That's the best thing that you can do. So you see right here, I use double lucks, double Time Lords, double lucks again, and a couple of singular Time Lords because I don't have double Time Lords. Now, another question that you might have, how do you get double passives? We're actually gonna talk about that right after this. But yeah, I figured out that this is like the ideal sweet spot. So you see here, we basically swapped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. That's plus 5 luck, because you have double luck passives, for 1 second of cooldown. This is worth. You see, we went from 7 seconds to 8 seconds on the max open cooldown. Like, this is definitely worth. Did I just get a Gon? Yeah, I actually got a Gon. Gon is the secret from this map, obviously. His normal version doesn't look bad at all, but his shiny version looks pretty insane, guys. Just gonna show it to you real quick. So, gonna throw in Mr. Faraway, 99 fruits, because why not? We have far too many anyway. And boom, it's gonna succeed now. There we go. So this is shiny adult Gon. It's one of the coolest looking units in the game, I would say. There we go. So I guess most of you are familiar with what he looks like, but yeah, it does look pretty nice. One of the coolest looking units in the game. Also, if you put giant passive on him, it becomes a little bit funny. And yeah, that's pretty much it, regardless to like the passive interaction that I want to tell you when you're opening. So what are we doing here? I'm missing 1 unit. Don't I have another double luck? Maybe I have one in the vault. I don't know what's going on. I have only 9 out of 10 equips. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Now, I'm gonna pull up the passives spreadsheet. Actually, before I do that, let me just go into the time chamber. We're still leveling up our units. I have double protagonist units, which means that these units are extremely hard to level by. And I'm gonna explain you why in a little bit as soon as I pull the passive spreadsheet. So there we go. This is an old tier list that I made. I will post it on my Discord if you guys wanna snatch the screenshot. So yeah, it's also sorted by tiers. And yeah, so starting off here, we have protagonist, right? The passive that I just talked about. Now, what makes protagonist probably the most broken passive in the game? You actually increase your maximum level cap on your units. So my unit, like currently level cap is 385, and I can push my units to level 405. Like, that is completely absurd. If you guys ever played this game, you probably know this. If you don't, I'll let you know. Level scaling is very big, and it's probably the biggest like source of damage increase for your units. Like a level 385 to a level 395 is day and night. Just look at this, right? So this level 385 unit, we have Monster passive. Monster is probably the weakest secret passive. It gives insane amounts of flat damage, but as you play this game, you will realize that flat damage increase is not really that important. And we also have Flaming, which increases damage, I think, by 2x as well. So yeah, anyway, this unit is ridiculously boosted in its like stats. And so you see, yeah, you can compare this like this to this. Obviously, this has a double passive, which I didn't really speak about, I forgot it, but we will before we wrap up the video. We'll also speak about talents. But yeah, like 36.9Z, right? Like this thing has 55Z, and we don't really have any damage passives on it, while we have probably the strongest like flat numeric damage passive increase in this unit. So you can tell that level scaling is very important. So yeah, protagonist, like basically, if you are super rich in shards, what you want to do is roll protagonist, level up your unit, and then just roll it off for guard, light speed, ace, something like that, right? So you see here, it does give some very small amount of damage increase, but not enough to actually justify keeping it. Especially, like, I don't know, it depends how fast like level cap is going to increase. Like if level cap from now on increases once a month, you probably want to roll it off, right? But yeah, it gives a little bit of attack speed as well and faster leveling speed. Now, God is probably the strongest like secret passive, I think. Or was it light speed? I'm not sure. I think God is still better. 2.2 times more damage, 1.5, 50% attack speed. You have 2 less hits until your units do their ultimates, and it also increases your ultimate damage by 80%. God is just completely cracked. Lightspeed was one of the new passives that were added right before like sort of the game kind of died with the Summer Island. 80% damage increase, 3.5 attack speed times increase, 4.5 attack speed multiplier. It increases obviously your hits to ultimate. Oh, excuse me. As you can see, like it does increase your hits to ultimate by 10, but you attack like a maniac, so it doesn't really matter. Like it's still worth. And you have a little bit of a time multiplier, just movement speed. Mercenary is one of the best like passives that are relatively easy to get. Mercenary has very high ratios. I think it's 1 1.6% or something to get, so it's pretty easy for what it does. Basically, it's insane for boss killing, but like on boss damage, it's very close to actually secret passives. But besides boss, it doesn't really do all that much. So you get 65% flat damage increase, and then on top of that, you get an extra 40% boss damage, which makes it insane against bosses. 20% ult and 20% attack speed. I don't know why it says ATL. Should be 80k, but doesn't matter. Now the downside for this passive is that you actually get 0 again, as you can see here, and half the drops, so you can't really farm with them. And then you have Monster, which I talked about earlier, like huge amounts of just flat out damage increase, a little bit of attack speed, but it's really the weakest like secret passive. Time Lord, the passive that I was talking about earlier for its utility use with the time multiplier that it has. Well, apparently Lightspeed has more time than Time Lord. Okay, that's interesting. I guess we need to start calling for Lightspeeds, guys. But yeah, Time Lord plus 5 hits for ult, 50% damage, 3 times attack speed, not 4.5, and that's it. And then you have like S tier, a whole bunch of like mythical passives. I won't really talk about them. You guys can just pause the video and check them out. But yeah, Flaming Ace, Ghostly, very good. Sorcerer was also buffed. I actually was asking for a while. I made a couple of videos about buffing it. Blessing as well. And then you have Relaxed, Tag 3, Giant, Solid Gold, Tank, General. Like General is pretty much like a leader. Leader increases your team damage. Like basically in this game you want to be using a combination of strong units and leaders to buff them. A leader, I have it in the B tier, it gives 0.25. General gave 0.3. Actually didn't get any. Also, I had double leaders as you can see, so I can't really just swap them for generals. Like a general was a summer passive. I don't think it's in the game anymore. Although Summer Island is gonna make a return really soon with the next update. So I guess that's probably, excuse me, an incentive to grind for generals. And you have Strong 3, Tiny, Draconic. Like these passives, you can keep them if you don't have a lot of shards. But anything other than that, as the screenshot says, you can just go ahead and reroll them. They're all garbage. And yep, that should pretty much wrap up the video until here. Alright guys, now the last thing before I go, I think we pretty much covered everything at this point. I'll talk a little bit about the limit breaker and why some of my units have 2 passives instead of 1. It's due to a machine called Limit Breaker. It's located in Icy Wastes. Let's find the map real quick. World 22. So basically, in order to actually limit break a unit, you need to sacrifice 2 shinies, exact same copies of it. Do we have something to actually showcase this? Okay, we can use the Indivores here. So let's say that this is the unit that I wanted to limit break, right? I'll have to sacrifice 2 more of these. Now, left and right is gonna get destroyed. Middle one is gonna stay. It's gonna keep everything that it has, levels, stats, passives, and yeah, you see here it takes 10 days, but that is the beauty of the time multiplier that I talked to you about earlier. Like, time really does wonders as an event. Like, it does so much for this game. So yeah, if you're on the side where you're a little bit more comfortable with shards, you should like try to roll for Time Lords. As you can see, my Time Lords are mostly garbage units. Like, I have this unit. This is from MHA. I don't remember where this one is from. I think it's from the second map or something. Then we have like Kings as well, and Nuggets, and the Tooth from One Piece. Like, if you have garbage shards, just roll and try to get those utility passives that I talked about earlier in the video. They are very, very important, each of their own use. Like, I spoke about each of one of them earlier. I think it's like 4 of them. Luck, Time, Draconic, and Solid Gold. That's what you need to get. So yeah, that's pretty much in regards to Limit Breaker. And lastly, let me go to Slime. No, I don't want Slime, my bad. I want Destiny, the World 15. Now, we also have stats as of talents. You see your talent machine in the units. So if I throw a unit in, let's for example throw this ceramic, you see here, units come with random stats, but you can actually fix the stats. So you see it costs fruits and you can boost them up to 10. Now, another one perk of the Limit Break machine, which by the way, if you upgrade your units, wait, I shouldn't have pressed that actually. Where is it? There we go. So you see here, it goes up to 10, 30, 40, 40, 30. Now, if you limit break your units, what happens is basically limit broken units can have their talents boosted up to 20, which just makes it flat out insane. you can see, like, that's why these units are like so strong and they are scaling so high, like 90%, 120, and it's actually 3 times, as you can see. Like, it might be only 10 more levels and 10 more fruits for each category. And by the way, from 10 to 20, as you can see, it costs 2 each time, right? So boom, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, while the normal ones cost only 1. But you go from 30% to 90%, so like it's double the increase, and the same thing for ultimates. And I think that pretty much sums up everything that you need to know as a new player or as a returning player if you forgot stuff. Oh my god, this video is 30 minutes. Yeah, I told Minus yesterday that it was going to be a 30-minute video. But yeah, hopefully guys, you have watched until this point. If you have watched until this point, comment in the chat, in the comments, right? A meteor has landed. That's the keyword, a meteor has landed. If you watched all the way until here, yeah, hopefully this helped you. I think it did. And yep, as always guys, thanks for the support, much love. Make sure you like the video and press the subscribe button down below if you're not subscribed. And I'll see you guys, I guess, all on the next one with regular uploads from now on. Take care.